I also want to take a minute to give all of you an update on our regathering in-person plans for the Crosspoint community. So I wanted to let you know that at least for the remainder of 2020, we as a leadership have decided that we will continue to gather on Sunday mornings online. Now, I'm fully aware that that comes with a mixture of emotions for everyone. For some, it's disappointment. For others, it's relief. For others, it's, you know what, it is just what it is. And I get it. And all of those reactions are valid. Now, we're also aware that many churches in our area have been trying to find ways to regather back in their buildings. And so that's naturally raised more questions a bit about what Crosspoint's plans are. And so I wanted to let you know where we stood, and I wanted to let you know the reasoning behind what our leadership here at Crosspoint has decided for the time being. Well, currently here in North Carolina, the Phase 3 restrictions for mass gatherings are 25 people indoors and 50 people outdoors. Now, we also know that churches have been given an exemption to that restriction, and when that's what is best for a particular church community, we celebrate that. We think that's great. And if they can find a way to make the environment safe for their people, awesome. However, for Crosspoint, we believe that's not an exemption that we specifically should take, because we don't think it's in the best interest of our particular entire community's health and safety. And since our indoor gatherings on Sunday, regardless of which service someone attends, are exponentially greater than 25 people, we don't think it's the best decision for us who call Crosspoint home and family to try to meet in person all together on Sundays. Furthermore, even if we decided to use and take advantage of the exemption right now, we as leaders really feel like the experience that we'd be able to create with all the restrictions that we'd have to put in place and have to try to constantly enforce, it would feel like we'd be missing out on so many of the things that make gathering together special. The handshakes and the hugs and the lingering conversations and the singing and the being together. And instead, we just have to usher people in and out quickly. And it feels like we're checking some sort of religious obligation box rather than something that would be overall life-giving to the entire community. And that's one of the key factors in these decisions that we have to embrace, that part of what factors into our decisions is how what we do affects the entire Crosspoint community. That we're not interested in coming up with solutions that simply leave out the vulnerable or excludes those who are most at risk or neglects those who have loved ones in their life that are more vulnerable and maybe making them feel pressured to have to choose between, their health and their great desire to try to be and participate and serve in the Crosspoint community. You see, Crosspoint is all of us together. And so here in North Carolina, with COVID cases and hospitalizations continuing to be on the rise, we feel like as leaders, for Crosspoint specifically, the decision to continue to meet online at least through 2020 on Sunday mornings is the wisest decision for the entire community. Now, we do have all sorts of smaller groups here at Crosspoint that have met in person and will continue to do so when they can appropriately follow the restrictions here in North Carolina, where they can be physically distanced, where they can wear masks. And I want you to know, we're all for that. We think that's great. However, as a reminder to all of us, I just want to make sure that we don't find ourselves unintentionally excluding those who aren't comfortable gathering in smaller groups in person, even with those restrictions in place. In our rush to find ways to gather back together, that we make sure we're not excluding others, that due to their own comfort level or their own vulnerability or at-riskness, their proximity to someone that they love that is more at risk, that we never want to communicate that it's some burden to get creative and find ways to include everyone. That's simply what love does. And so at times that may look like we choose instead to default to online gatherings in smaller groups. Or it means that we go back and forth between in-person and virtual gatherings so there's not this distance that's created between anyone for any long period of time. Or we just work on finding really creative ways to make hybrids of both virtual and in-person environments. But the bottom line is, let's be strong advocates for loving and including everyone the best that we can. That's who we are. That's what we do. Now, with all that said, there's one more thing I want to add. I know Crosspoint Christmas is a huge part of many of our year-end traditions that call Crosspoint home. And I just want to rest assure you that we've already been working really hard to create the best possible experience we can throughout the month of December to help us celebrate Christmas together in Crosspoint style. And so there's lots of really great things that we're working on. I'm excited for what we've got planned already. I just can't wait to experience it all with you. We're gonna have a good time together. So Crosspoint, let's keep leaning in together. We can do hard things, right? That's who we are. That's always been a part of our story. And we can do this. And as always, I'm just so honored to be a part of this community and this kind of community with you.